It's the Boyers Kingdom Marriage Podcast.
And we're back, y'all. The Boyers. No.
Hello, everybody. We're back. The Boyers with the Boyer Kingdom Marriage Podcast. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Stefan. Why you keep looking back and forth? That's funny, though. We're going to keep that on there.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Why would you call me out like that?
Because that's what we are in our marriage.
You're going to just be truthful, huh?
Yeah.
Keep it honest.
Yep.
I know
Ain't
that's
no
right.
cut, no edit on this one.
Okay. I'm good with that.
Nah, let's be serious, though. So, today, what are we talking about?
Today we're going to talk about love in levels. Love comes in levels.
Yes, love does come in levels. I like to look at it as in like 4 levels. 4
Okay.
levels of love.
Okay. 4 levels of love.
Yeah. So, because in the levels of love, you have to know when one grows out of that level.
Okay. So I have to be able to assess when my spouse grows, when their level grows.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they're no longer in that level.
Okay.
It's like when you have children.
Uh-huh.
You have to know when, okay, by now you ought to be out of pull-ups.
Uh-huh.
The level has changed. Right.
That's very real to me because I'm tired of buying pull-ups.
Right. So in the levels we have the beginning level, or you would call it the romantic level, the honeymoon level.
Okay, so that's the beginning stage when everything is butterflies and
Right.
long talks on the phone.
Yeah.
Buying me stuff.
The talking all day.
Yeah.
Always just, hey, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing? Right.
Text messages.
Text messages all day. 4 or 5 messages in one day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say 4 or 5, just a lot. You can stay in communication.
Yeah.
Right. Like how when we first started off when me and you first got married and we were doing, like meeting up at your mom's house.
Yeah.
And other married couples were there and they were like going through it. And they were
Yeah.
like, so what is it that y'all don't like about each other? And I'm like,
Nothing.
I just got married. I love her.
Yeah.
So we would always be on the phone, always talking. That's kind of like the first level. So let's dive into that first level. I remember when we first got married and we would go to your mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She was doing a marriage counseling type thing.
To try to get us at the table to kind of counsel us.
Right. But it would be other couples there.
Mm-hmm.
And the other couples, because they were older, they were going through bumping of heads,
Right.
not liking each other, or really having real issues.
They were further along in their stages.
Right. So there was a form that we were writing out or filling out, and it was to write down what you don't like about your spouse. And we didn't have nothing to write. They were like, y'all don't like each other? There's nothing that you don't like? There got to be something you don't like about Ashley. Or Ashley, there got to be something you don't like about Stefan. And we were like,
We just mad.
we just got married. Not yet. I don't know. I mean, I like everything that you do.
Yeah. I mean, so in that stage, that's that since everything is so new, like you're not really looking for the red flags or, you kind of just really in the liking stage.
Right. And people miss that stage because they stay together for so long and don't get married.
Yeah.
And they date for 12, 15 years. I'm not going to date nothing for 15 years.
Yeah, I don't want to be dated for that long.
You
Don't date
you've
me
been
that
dating
long.
for 18 years. Your son's 16, 15, and y'all still not married, but y'all live together.
Yeah.
Okay. But you'll miss that honeymoon. You'll miss that stage. You'll miss that bonding. It's like a caterpillar in a cocoon.
Mhm.
Y'all
The
become one.
foundation.
The foundation of
I
it,
think that
right?
our foundation, we established a lot of friendship in our very first, that very first stage. We built friendship.
Yeah, you have to. You have to become friends. I don't want to be with somebody I don't like for the rest of my life. I want to spend the rest of my life with a friend,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
We have to be able to be friends. Because even when all else fails, you're still my friend.
Yes.
We know how to get along,
Yeah.
regardless. So that is more of like the beginning. Everything just seems so perfect.
Mhm.
Everything. Nothing stinks.
Right. Right. Or you still trying to make sure you ain't, you keeping your distance
Right.
because you don't want to show that side yet. You trying to keep that perfect image.
But when you date for so long, like I say, you miss that. So
Yeah.
um, there would still be some things that I would be embarrassed to do in front of you because I'm trying to keep this perfect
Yeah.
image. Like, you don't go to the restroom? No. No, I eat, I drink, and nothing happens.
Like I'll be
Holding
back.
it
I
in,
gotta go.
body cramping up, but you're trying to keep this um, image.
Yeah. Because you still want everything to be.
But then you get to another level where things begin to get real.
Right.
Reality kind of starts to set in.
And y'all been together for months and Sundays.
Yeah. But maybe some bills start setting in.
Uh-huh.
Right. Maybe there needs to be a raise. Maybe there needs to be a moving. You might outgrow a place where you're at. A kid might become involved.
Oh, the kids will
And
do it.
and one might be ready to mature to the next level because things are getting real, but the other one is still staying at the honeymoon stage
Yeah.
and not seeing that, hey,
It's time to get down to business.
yeah. Especially a lot of growth happens during pregnancy, right?
Yeah.
One will have it
Your
on their
mindset
mind all the
changes.
time that
Yeah.
somebody's growing inside me. I need you to get off the video game.
Yeah.
I need you to see if they
What
offering
you been doing
overtime.
all day.
See if they're offering overtime,
Yeah.
right? Because there needs to be more finance coming in to be able to put up, to balance out that now there's going to be an extra mouth. So things begin to get real. That's
Yeah,
one
because
thing.
I think people start to feel like, don't make it seem like I'm doing more or I care more than
Right.
you do. So if I feel like I'm carrying most of the weight, the baby, and it seems like my life is changing drastically, or I'm about to have to start giving up some things, and you seem like you still living the same life you've been living. You still hanging out with your friends all the time. You still turning up. You still, like you not getting ready. You ain't put up for no diapers. I ain't seen nothing change. You still spending your money the same way. It's not giving.
Amazon
We on the
sliding through.
same.
Amazon coming
Amazon
every day.
packages coming.
Yeah.
You done bought a new game, new phone, expensive purchases, but we ain't bought no crib,
Nope.
no diapers, no bottles. Yeah, it that definitely can weigh on a person because then you start to see, okay, I'm giving. I feel like I'm giving, and I don't feel like you're giving. You're not giving
As much as
as
I'm
much
giving.
as I am.
Yeah.
And so then it starts to make you feel. I think at first you'd be like, okay, now listen, but then after a while it gets to be, unfair.
In that real level, like we say, responsibilities will begin to change.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So there's more weight to be laid, and you want to make sure that y'all are growing together,
Right.
equally balanced. You know, I can say when things got real for me
Mm-hmm.
was they were kind of getting real when you were pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
but they really got real when Ayana came.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that I wasn't taking the pregnancy seriously, but
You didn't have something tangible.
right, it got real, real. Um, that's when a lot of things were shifting and changing. I had just started barber school right before she came,
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, okay, I'm switching careers. I need to make sure that we are good. I knew that we were good financially,
Mm-hmm.
but to keep the finances coming, right?
Yeah.
So a maturity level kicked in. But then there's also that of what we would call like a rebellion type stage. Well, I'm going to do me
Yeah.
regardless.
Because it don't seem like you care about what I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
You're not hearing me, so I'm gonna just do whatever I need to do to get until you realize.
And this happens when you really don't have God in the middle of it,
Yeah.
God at the forefront of it. Um, so you start rebelling against each other
Mm-hmm.
because we can, like we were talking about, put one person above God.
Mm-hmm.
So that grace that was on the marriage that he had covering the marriage, which is his hand, is now off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you start seeing people start seeing their flaws,
Mm-hmm.
right? And now we're in this third level, and I'm looking at you from a first level, or continue to try to look at you from a first level,
Mm-hmm.
which can be unfair to that person,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I know that this person's trying to move up to another level, but I keep referring back to that first level.
Right.
Keep throwing it in their face.
Right.
Like, man, we're not 18 no more.
That's right.
We're not 18 no more. You still struggling with that? And it's like, I'm not struggling with that. Yeah, you are. And so there's this confusion that happens because now the rebellion has kicked in.
Yeah. And I think even rebellion goes in stages because I feel like, at first you feel like I feel away and I want to be heard.
Yeah.
And then when you're still not heard, then you go to the next thing, like the next level. Like, okay, so you're not listening. And I remember, we already discussed, then we start doing what we want to do. But I think that sometimes we get to a point in a state of rebellion that it gets so bad that, you like, it seems as though it can't even be reconciled.
Oh yeah. As I remember, there were just some things like I never forget we were staying at this one place, and I took the game system out the room.
Mm-hmm.
Now I took the game system out the room because I didn't want to interrupt your TV time.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was a move of thinking about you,
Mm-hmm.
but really it was causing confusion because now I took the game system upstairs,
Mm-hmm.
and you felt like I was trying to be away from you.
Right.
But because we lacked in communication, I never did explain that to you.
Right.
I was like, why is she tripping?
Yeah.
I'm not taking it back downstairs. I'm coming up here, I'm gonna play my game. If I doze off, I doze off.
Yeah, and that irritated the mess out of me.
That was that rebellion.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew. But I'm like,
because I think even he was like, at least I'm at home.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, no.
I could be going doing some other things, like
Instead
some
of
of my
us,
other
yeah.
peers were doing at the time, right? So,
I was going to say, instead of us talking about the core issue or what was really the problem, rebellion surfaced it and made it, grow into something that it wasn't.
right. So the glue to levels is communication.
Yeah.
When you can stay in communication, or when you keep communication flowing, and not allow miscommunication, misunderstanding rule the relationship.
Right.
Because there's going to be miscommunication. There's going to be
Definitely.
misunderstanding.
And it's going to be times where you're just not going to have two different perspectives on one thing.
Yep. And when you can't grasp that part, then it ends up ruling the relationship. So then that brings us to the fourth level where there needs to be a reassessment done.
A reassessment, yeah.
Reassessment, like, okay.
So let's just sit down. Let's sit down at the table. Let's figure it out.
Like, what's going on? We've been together 15 years. What's up?
Yeah.
You doing your thing. I'm doing my thing.
And it's not what we want to do no more. So what we gonna do?
And that's a part that people on the outside hate to see.
Yeah.
They're like, dang, they've been together how many years?
Yeah.
18 years, 19 years, 20 years, and if they can't make it.
Mm-hmm. But in that somewhere, somebody just didn't choose the other person. Because you have to wake up daily, die to your flesh, and choose your spouse or your person. Because it's gonna be different kind of days. You know what I'm saying? Every day is not gonna look perfect or be about love and butterflies. We got work to do.
Right. And if you can't die to yourself, so for example, when we're saying die to yourself and becoming one, I'm not a morning person. Sure. You may think that I'm a morning person.
Because you get up.
Because I get up and go to work. I'm not a morning person. But I've learned how to die to myself.
I thought you was a morning person.
No.
You make it look easy.
Because I've died to myself and realized that in being the head, there's a family that needs to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to make sure I don't just get up for work.
Right.
I get up and make sure I get to my altar and spend time with God before I do my day.
Right.
Because he tells you to command the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. And then it says, I will rejoice and be glad in it. So there's some declaring that I need to make before I leave the house. But if I'm just getting right up at that time to grab a bite and then go, oh, Jesus, my day is going to be horrible. I'm going to be on the phone with you. Such and such canceled. Such and such did this. Such and such. Oh, why you ain't answering my phone call? I done called you 3 times. I done text you. Didn't see it. Because you ain't command your day.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to die to myself. When I die, that's why the Bible says, those that live will die, but those that die will gain.
Yeah.
Right? So the Bible gives you the concept of everything. Some people call the Bible a love book. It's a book about one person wanting to just be in a relationship. That's why he calls us the bride. We're his bride, right? He's the groom. So in that, what I'm wrapping up and saying is that if I don't ever die to myself and you don't ever die to yourself, then there's selfish, then there's pride.
Right.
Nobody's humbling themselves. Nobody's trying to become one.
Everybody want to be right.
Right.
Or make their point. Somebody got to be able to say, Let's be humble.
When you can get two on the same page of
Yeah.
sacrificing, going to the altar, sacrificing yourself to God, sacrificing yourself in relationship, then God will take that marriage to another level like you've never seen before.
Yeah.
But if it's always just one, there'll be the struggle. It'll look like you're almost out, but then you get pulled back in.
Right.
You'll see the brightness of it, but then all of a sudden it starts raining.
So would you say that we go through these levels after 17 years of marriage? Can you say that we've been through these levels more than once?
Oh yes, the levels can be repeated. Um, and it's okay if they're repeated. You
But
don't want to get stuck in a cycle.
Yeah.
You don't want to get just stuck on this cycle of a level. You don't want to get stuck in rebellion.
Right. I don't want rebellion to come back. I decree and declare that it won't come back.
Right. It's cool to run through it. To run back through the honeymoon.
Yeah.
To run back through things getting real, because when things start to get real, God's elevating you.
Yeah.
I just have to learn, and when I say I'm talking about people in marriage or relationships, period. Because this also has to deal with relationships too.
Yeah.
You have to understand the relationship that you have with your job. If your job never brings you to another level, which will be called promotion,
Yes.
then you're going to have to go somewhere else where those ones that will respect you on what you offer, what you bring to the table. Hey, I've been in with this company for 10 years, no promotion. And my boy Giannis, he says, failure.
Wow.
Everybody gets promoted. That's why you have things called anniversaries.
Take you into new seasons.
It's
Elevation.
all growth. God works with numbers.
So rebellion can cause elevation depending on what you do with it.
Right.
So that means when rebellion does come, as long as we steward it properly, it don't have to last for a long time.
Right.
And then we can hurry up and take it to make reassessment come quickly, and then we get back to the honeymoon stage.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah, because rebellion is the Lord showing you the flaws.
Yeah.
Of what needs to be fixed.
Which has to come. So okay, I'll get that. I fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do need it because it's gonna help us grow to where we're going. Well, it has. It definitely has.
Oh yeah,
Because it helps show. I don't mean to keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, it's just saying that the next level that God is taking you to, you got to get rid of this.
Okay.
This doesn't make it in.
Right.
Right. This is not going to make it over. There needs to be a refining, a reshaping, because this is not going to fit. It was cool for this.
Yeah.
Learning how to add and subtract, that's cool. But I want to teach you multiplication. So once you master this, you don't want to get comfortable and pick up habits.
Right.
So if you pick up a habit before you go to the next, God refines it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you made some good key points. I like how you refer to how everything rolls back around. In that rolling back around and covering each 4 levels over and over again as you grow. If you don't adjust, then there will be a separation. Right?
Yeah.
We've been through our separating season. Right?
Right.
Because now God is reassessing us. And so I remember a time when there was some reassessment that needed to be done on my end. I can't really say what happened on your end, but I know personally on my end, there were some things that the Lord wanted to fix me on. It's like when you go get your nails done.
Yeah, like I need
The
mine
nail
done.
has one shape,
Mhm.
but then it needs to be refiled and shaped back out,
Yeah.
buffed and smoothed out.
Mhm.
But it doesn't stay like that. You eventually have to keep going back.
Yeah.
Well, this one time I didn't want a manicure, but I
Mhm.
was like, no. And I was just fine with how things were going. We were both in a rebellion type place.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna let her do her.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do me.
Mhm.
But in that, the Lord stepped in,
Yeah.
and everything that we tried to do in that outside season didn't work.
Right.
Everything. Well, I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna start doing that, and it wouldn't work
Yeah.
because God placed this together,
Mhm.
right? And so it caused some serious growth.
Yeah.
Some serious growth. I mean, when you are, because I ended up getting my own place,
Yeah.
right? And there would be things that the Lord made me deal with abandonment,
Mhm.
with being alone, because of where He was going to take me.
He needed you to go back to that place.
Go back to that place. And so people are like, well, how does that have to do with marriage?
Mm.
Well, that altar needed to be built, that prayer life needed to be built to another level,
Mhm.
because bringing back this marriage, He wanted to take this marriage to another level.
Mhm.
You can't give somebody something you don't have.
Mhm.
So we can't go off of experiences that we've never been in.
That's right.
If if I ain't experienced it, I
I
can't help
can't help you. I can't speak to what you're really going through. Cause in that time, I definitely experienced some things that made me say, "Oh, okay, I see why they be doing that. I see why they be trying to kill themselves." Cause you get a feeling of hurt that you can't really
Mm-hmm.
come out of. But I'm saying I wouldn't. That's something I wouldn't do. But I can speak to that in a person. You know what I'm saying? It's certain hurts that he wanted us to feel in order to be able to speak to a person about where we are.
Right, because I've never dealt with anxiety,
Mhm.
so I never knew what it felt like. So when people would say that,
Yeah.
I understood that it was spiritual,
Yeah.
that it was a spiritual attack, but I never dealt with it until one day I was like, oh, this is what this is.
Mhm.
But I knew to go into prayer.
And two, I think that because we started so early, we didn't have a lot of adult experiences with life anyway.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like, when you think about my like a first marriage or second marriage, like, we was my first marriage and my second marriage, my last marriage.
Yeah.
Because we were different people then. And so, I think some of the times when, God had us by ourselves, it was because he needed us to, like you say, feel some things and to show us some things, allow us to feel some things so that when we came back together, we would have a new level of appreciation
Mm-hmm. Oh,
or
yeah.
a new outlook.
Yeah, when he was doing a reassessment on this, I didn't know that he was doing a reassessment.
Me
I
either.
thought he said it was a done deal. I went and tried to file that divorce.
Mhm.
Man, I just knew it was God.
Mhm.
I just knew because I had the
I said, I'm
exact
gonna let you
amount.
go on over here with this foolishness.
I had the exact amount. I rolled up to that courthouse and said, "Sir, it's going to be this much." And I reached in my pocket. I had the exact. I said, "Oh, I ain't got to swipe my card." Oh, this got to be God. I just knew. And some time went by, and I was like, "Yeah, yep." But one day, God just stepped in and said, "I never told you to."
Mhm.
Yeah. So like, you know, I just knew it was God.
Yeah.
Um, But God will always confirm. It's not always just about you just saying, I just knew, I just knew. He'll give you confirmation after confirmation. You have to understand the enemy wants to seem like he's God too.
Yeah.
And he'll try to trick you. You have to understand. I went in there with and had the exact amount. God always does more above, right? Ephesians 3:20. Exceedingly above all that you could ask for, I think. And that's why God had to let me know. Nah, that wasn't me.
That wasn't me.
I never told you to.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to just always make sure that even when it comes to that, even when it comes to marriage or breaking up, you always want to seek God first. Seek God first in everything that you do, that you can be making a wrong decision.
Yeah, because it's not going to be easy. I mean, nothing is never going to feel easy. I don't think it was easy to stay or go at that point. So it was like, you got to work through something. You either
Right.
work through the hard way, starting all over, or you work through what's not so hard and put your marriage back together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we had to do. We had to reassess, and we found that it was best. It wasn't so bad that we couldn't put it back together, and it was just us, being able to humble ourselves, die to our flesh, and do what we knew God wanted us to do.
Yeah, because it's never too late to fix. Now you're saying that it's out of God's hands, out of His reach.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's never that. And for those that have been married and divorced and remarried, or you keep separating and getting back together and keep separating and get back together, that's because y'all supposed to be together.
Yeah.
But y'all need to just keep God in it.
Yeah. This time around, make the
time.
promise to keep God at the head.
Yep.
And submit your marriage. Give your marriage back to the person who created it. Give it to Him first.
You did it in front of Him. Even if you just went to the courthouse.
Yeah.
He was still a witness. Even if you didn't have the big wedding.
Right.
He's still the witness.
Yeah, because you stood there in front of usually they have like a Bible or like some type of a book that has those scriptures and stuff in it. So he's still before God.
Yep. So just make sure that you go back into your relationship wholeheartedly.
Right. Not stuck on the past.
Right. Sometimes relationships or marriage can struggle. It's because you're only doing it for what you can get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that will automatically.
Every time. Because it's not about us.
Right.
God put us together. He created marriage so that we can work together on assignment for Him.
Yeah.
It's some things that He need us to do together for the kingdom of God.
Right.
It's not so that we can be in love and so we don't be on this earth alone, so that it ain't about none of that. Marriage is not about none of that.
It's all about His purpose. So if you're getting married for your purpose.
Yeah, it's going to fail every time.
It's His purpose. He has established two to be together.
Mm-hmm.
So they can become one.
Mm-hmm.
And be connected to Him.
And create godly children. Raise our kids up in godly environments because they need both of us. They need the institute of a man and a woman to be able to make well-rounded, godly individuals.
Right. Because it's kingdom takeover.
Yeah. For sure.
Well, with that, we will
wrap up episode 3.
Oh, okay. We 3 in, we 3 deep.
I'm trying to keep it flowing as God gives us the word and keeps, feeding us. We try to be able to kick it out.
Right.
We're just trying to learn the flow of it, learn the flow of podcasting, and learn how to get our conversation across to you guys because we know what we heard in the spirit and how we want things to go, but we want to it's going to take us some time to get there.
Yep.
But make sure you follow us on all of our platforms, like this video, subscribe. We want to hear from you guys. Make sure you send us feedback and ask questions. We want to try to do some live sessions if we can. Once we figure out what's the best platform, we try to get our TikTok up to 1,000 followers. So please share that also. Everything is at @TheBoyers_KMP. You should be able to find us on all platforms. And we're trying to just figure out, we're also talking about a marriage meetup where we can do either Topgolf or Cooking with a Twist in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
And so be looking for those events. We're trying to see how we can create this community. And we just want to be on a movement for Christ. Whatever God has for us to do in this season, we don't want to miss it. Right. And so we thank you guys for spending this time with us again. Boy, you're signing out.
It's the Boyers Kingdom Marriage Podcast.